Administration. This video is about using video in class introductions to entice our students or to encourage our students to get started on day one. And I think they do have an effect in that they will not only cause a student to start early, but they will also remove a lot of the fears a student has coming into a new class with a new teacher. Maybe they don't know the teacher, maybe they don't know who else is in the class, but it also helps with continuing rates. And so I wanted to do this video just to kind of encourage you to kind of wade into the water and learn. It's something that most other schools are doing that are on the cutting edge. I have one school that has over 100,000 online students, and we're starting to use video for announcements and for all kinds of things, grading, weekly and the introduction to the class and all those things. So I want to spend just a moment talking to you about best practices, how you can get started, and then how you can find help to begin to work on this, work in this direction. One of the problems that we face always is the issue of communications. One of the things that I have faced at Valley since I've been teaching here is getting students to talk to you, running after them, begging them, doing whatever you have to do. I usually tell a student, never run from a teacher who's trying to communicate with you because it's so important. If, like the general population, our students tend not to read. The truth is, when you look at attention spans, you have about 5 seconds to grab somebody's attention, and it's not possible to do that, I don't think, with written text anymore. As our slideshow says here, the human attention span sometime in the 2000s dropped from 12 to 8 seconds. Now, we have bad news for you. A goldfish has a 9-second attention span. So we're running behind the curve, and it gets more and more difficult for us to relate to our students, get their attention, and then with the short class term of 3 weeks, sometimes it's almost impossible to do that. So we're looking for new ways to get our students involved early, quickly, up front, and get them to continue on, and they tend to do better and will make better grades. So when we look at the visual versus the written communication, these are some of the realities I want to just kind of hit you with today to make you realize that we've got to do something different than written communications if we're going to be the very best we can be, to be on the cutting edge, to be professional. 82% of Twitter users watch video content on Twitter. Amazing. YouTube has over 1 billion users. 45% of users watch more than an hour of video content on Facebook or YouTube each week. More than 500 million hours of YouTube are watched each day. 24% of Americans never read a book of any kind. Let that sink in for a moment. The reality is that unless we're actively working to reach our students with the medium they're using, we're falling behind the curve. Students will not simply adapt the methods we use simply to get an education. And to effectively reach our students, we're going to have to be willing to adapt the methods they find the most appealing and use them. And so that's kind of the point of thinking about how we can use video more effectively. So, introduction videos. They are basically producing a short video that announces your coming class and the distinct advantages and things of excitement in that class. And these have, I've found, and I think it's pretty well established, that these pre-class videos are advantageous for start rates. Get people started on day one. In a 3-week environment, if they don't start on day one, they will probably remain behind the entire 3 weeks, and of course that impacts learning. And it may impact grades, pass rates, continuing with the school, all kind of things I think come from that. So producing this video, what does it do for us? It introduces them to the teacher and helps to build a bond and a class atmosphere. We're always worried about, in the online world, building some kind of environment that's similar to a city class where we can interact with students and they can learn from it. So this introduction, it kind of allays the fears they have of not knowing the teacher. Now when you start on day one, they know who you are, they've heard you, They know your voice. They put a face with a name. All those things that we talk about being problems. This kind of offsets that. It generates an excitement and increases the chances the students will start early. Make them excited. Show them your passion for what you're teaching, for what they're going to learn, for how helpful that's going to be. How does it pertain to our daily life? How are they going to use that? Students will more than likely get involved when they realize that there is a purpose and a reason for what they are doing. It also opens the door of communication between the teacher and the student, because now they know you. You can personally invite them to call or to email or whatever your choice is of communication. I want to show you just a sample, and I'm so sorry that you have to look at me again, and I am not the idea by any means, but I wanted to show you what an introduction to a recent class looks like, and how that introduction might impact students.
Hello Valley students, this is Dr. Mike, and I am your teacher record for the communications course for cybersecurity that we're about to get underway, and I just wanted to say just a word to you about the importance of this course and what we're going to be doing this term. I think you should be excited that we are making added efforts to equip you for work in the business world, and that the things that we're doing are going to be of great importance and great help to you as you move forward in your academic and your work career. One of the things that we're doing this term that's of vital importance is to help you to develop a professional resume that you can take out into the business world. And
I'm not going to play the entire thing. You can do that at your leisure, but it gives you an idea of how important this might be in terms of impacting your class and causing them to be interested in what you're doing. It's just a little forecast. It is short, sweet, to the point. Let me mention just some best practices in making video. Maybe you've never done this before, and I'm sure there are fears on your part, just like there are fears on our students' parts. And so I want to just mention some things. Number one, make it very personal. This is your opportunity to introduce yourself and to start to bond with your students. First contact is always important. Initial reactions are lasting reactions. And as we usually say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's a lot more entertaining even to watch somebody as poorly photogenic as I am on a camera. It's a lot more entertaining to do that than just to read the text, and they're much more likely to hear you. Work on your background and your lighting for best effects. I'm not sure when the best time is for you. Believe it or not, the best time for me is at 5:30 in the morning. I live in Colorado, and at 5:30 the sun is full up, and if you stay in bed, you're going to get sunburned. So it's just nice to get up and do it in the morning light, and always be aware of the professionalism and the look behind your video. If you're doing slides with the presentation, use relevant, smart graphics with that, very important. Keep it simple, keep it short. Remember that the mind can only absorb what the bottom can endure. Live by that adage, okay? Be excited. Now, that's probably my problem, is that as I've said, I'm not very photogenic, and I don't look happy, but I am happy. It just never notified my face, I guess. But I'm just not a smiling person. But if teaching is your passion, let your students see your passion. Always pay attention to physical things, the room, how you're dressed. There are certain colors that show well on film. 9 out of 10 news anchors, especially women, wear red because red shows up on camera better for whatever reason. Worry about the background, comb your hair. You won't believe the number of people you see that get out of bed look like they've been hit by lightning and never comb their hair. I had a student video recently I was reviewing, and while the lady is interviewing another son for her video, her teenage son just walks into the room, wanders between the camera, picks up something off the table, wanders off. That's not very professional. We are here to model professionalism. Do you realize that your students will never be any more professional than their teacher? So you want to do the very best you can to model professionalism. Always spell check and grammar check. That is so vitally important. I ride by churches often, and having been a former pastor, I look at their signs, and it just irks me to no end to see a misspelled word. I used to have a church where the guy who put my sign up couldn't spell cat, And I always had to go to church on Monday morning to be sure that the spelling was right, to keep me from just being absolutely irate. But that same thing spills over to me as a teacher. I don't enjoy seeing misspelled words and bad grammar. We're to be modeling. If we want our students to be great scholars, let's model scholarship, and let's particularly watch these things that we have a problem with. If you have a problem with spelling, always use spell check and grammar check. The other thing is to add quality and distinction to your video. These are called thumbnails, and this actually becomes the first screen you see in your video presentation when you make one of these. These are the ones that I made for my cybersecurity class. But it's kind of a branding for your class. It adds quality, and that's what the students expect from us. And I say that again, you and I need to model professionalism. We need to model quality. This is the expectation that what students will face in the real business world when they go there. And we want them to be ready for that, of course. And so we're constantly working to improve that. Now, just some final things to consider. You can usually do a decent job with the simple things that you have. Your cell phone makes a really good quality video usually. You may want to buy a selfie stick or a tripod so you can hold it steady and not be jumping all over the place. That's not good quality. You can get free software. Here's the link for that. I purchased Screen-O-Matic, and that's what I use on my computer. Do that with a computer and a camera, and it works really well. Not prohibitively expensive. And then I have here some further tips on making video. I don't think the administration would mind me saying this to you, but I'd be more than happy to help you get started and talk you through other things to help you do this really well. Because my interest, first of all, is in our students, that they get the very best education they can get. And secondly, it's in helping my fellow faculty. That doesn't mean I know it all, and I'm not here as a know-it-all. But I'm here to work together in a collaborative effort for us to all be better. It's about continual improvement. And for many of us, it's about overcoming our fears of this kind of thing. You would be surprised how many professors I know that have a fear of technology. In fact, most of us have a niche to teach in because older professors won't touch technology because they're afraid of it. Do not be afraid of it. And let's overcome that fear. And let's do a great job for our students. Let's make Valley College on the cutting edge when it comes to things like video and other things to help our students be the very best that they can